Hello and welcome back to our 9-month Ultimate World Cruise adventure. And today we're in the island of many people's dreams, Tahiti.
Welcome to Living Phase 2.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nancy, and we're empty nesters striving to live life to the
And
fullest.
we're living that full life aboard Royal Caribbean's 9-month Ultimate World Cruise on Serenade of the Seas.
We sure are. Well, today, friends, we are in Tahiti.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
the sail-in today was a little bit different than the island of Moorea. It's
Yeah.
all in the French Polynesia here.
Yeah.
A little more big city-like.
Yeah, a little bit like going from, being on Kauai or the big island of Hawaii to going to Oahu. There's certainly yeah, we sailed into the city of Papeete on Tahiti, and it is a little bit of a shock to the senses after the wonderful sail in Moorea. And if you haven't seen that video, back up one, take a look at our adventure yesterday.
It was stunning.
One of our favorite places we've ever sailed into, so take a look at that as well. Maybe we'll give a little background. So Tahiti is one of the Society Islands. So that has Bora Bora, Tahiti, Moorea, it's 180 islands or so throughout this whole chain. So when people say Tahiti, they often kind of like Hawaii, they mean the whole island chain, but this is actually the island of Tahiti, which is even its two islands, Tahiti Nui and Tahiti Iti. Tahiti Iti is the small island, and Tahiti Nui is the large island. Well, Nancy, what did we do here in Tahiti?
Well, we had a nice tour through tours by locals that a friend of ours had arranged. And so there were a total of 6 of us that had a private tour guide that took us around the island.
And one thing to mention is there were guides there. There were actually taxis, and the guides, instead of the taxi drivers, instead of really trying to pick up taxi fares, actually were trying to sell you for, on the option of buying them for the day, right? And so they were doing kind of the same thing, but we prearranged through Tours by Locals, which we like. Got a little bit of a middleman there, a little bit more guarantee to it.
Right.
But I thought it was excellent. Yeah.
I thought it was really a well-done tour.
Yeah, showed up on time, everything was good, and we even modified a few things that we asked specifically to go do.
If you're looking for a guide, Natalia was our guide.
Yes, she was very good, very good.
First place she took us to was an overlook, and she called it the gas station overlook. We were at a Shell gas station, but behind the Shell gas station, you had to know it, there was a beautiful overlook there.
Yeah, we could see our ship and the bay and kind of look out over there. And so it's those little things that the locals know where to go to take you so that you can see some additional things. Well, where'd we go after the gas station, honey?
After that, we went snorkeling, and this was just beautiful. The name of it was Peacot Beach, and beautiful coral formations, lots of fish, marine life. It was a nice snorkeling trip, and it was warm. This was the first time we snorkeled where I felt like the water was really warm.
Yeah, it was very nice. And it was just a beach entry. And the nice thing too there is after we were done with our snorkeling, there were showers there.
Yes.
So we all went, we showered, changed out of our swimwear and into regular clothes so that then we could enjoy the rest of the day and not be salty, sticky,
Right.
So that made it really nice, and Natalia was really nice and waited for us while we did all that, and then we piled back in the van. Well, Nancy, after snorkeling, where'd we head?
Well, we went to a Polynesian temple called Mare Arahu Rahu.
Arahu Rahu. It's kind of fun to say, yeah. And this is where, they had a temple that was still laid out as it would have been back in the days when the Polynesians had different types of worship. The king would go inside of the structure. And I thought the interesting thing is they brought a couple of the stone tikis out here. And there's a lot of legends about they were cursed, and, that the people who moved them, that, 5 of 6 of them died.
Kind of like the Brady Bunch.
I don't know. We kept thinking of
their Hawaii adventure.
We kept thinking of the Brady Bunch episode the whole time. And But our guide assured us that many people have taken pictures with these tikis and nobody's died recently. So we were okay. We could take the pictures that the tiki gods had calmed down after the movement and that everything was fine. So, well, then after that, we went to a grotto, I believe, didn't we, hon?
We did. It was called Grotto de Morea. And that was a beautiful area to see the kind of these indentation
caves,
grottos, caves, and then it wasn't rain, but it looks like rain.
Yeah, take a look here, and it looks like it's raining.
And it's just the moisture that collects at the top and then just drips down. It's just continual.
Yeah, and so that, some of the people would actually swim in these, and it's clean spring water coming down from the mountains. And I really enjoyed the grottos. It was very beautiful and idyllic. Yeah, it just had a lot of vegetation and just sitting in the drips and everything. It was very beautiful. And, well, then after that, we went to a black sand beach.
Yeah, she wanted to show us what a black sand beach was, which is the lava that has created these islands is just all crumbled into little tiny bits of sand, and there was surfing going on, so it was kind of fascinating to watch for a short period of time.
And here on Tahiti, actually, many of the beaches are black sand, being a volcanic island, and the one thing you want to be very careful of at the black sand beach is they get very hot.
Yes.
So you want to make sure you've got some flip-flops or something if you're going to the beach, a towel to lay down. You can actually burn yourself on that beach, so be very careful with that. But yeah, I liked watching the surfing. Then after that, I believe we went to some
lunchtime at the Goan. It was a museum restaurant. Museum is now closed, but the restaurant still continues.
Yeah, it was a victim of COVID. Yeah, and it was just spectacular views. We could see the small island of Tahiti Iti and walked out on a pier, got some beautiful views.
It was right on the water. I mean, you could just take 2 steps and you'd be in the water. It was really beautiful, and the food was very good too.
Yeah, it was actually extremely good. I had some tuna tartare, and actually I did a couple appetizers for lunch, and you had some tuna, right? Yeah, it was very good. We enjoyed that a lot. Then after our wonderful lunch in the Goan restaurant, where'd we head to?
One of my favorite places, which was the Botanical Gardens, and it didn't disappoint. The flowers were just absolutely breathtaking. And something else that was kind of fun there's eels. There's freshwater eels there, and big things, like maybe 4 feet long or so. And our guide had half a loaf of a baguette, and she'd tear off pieces of the baguette and she'd throw it into where she knew the eels were hiding, and maybe 5 or 6 of them came out, and it was really
it's
cool.
Very famous, this particular in Botanical Garden in some places in Tahiti, to see the freshwater eels, and didn't disappoint. We certainly saw them and walked through. I actually enjoyed it. It was very beautiful walking through the Polynesian Gardens, and enjoyed that a lot. So no, I did enjoy that.
Plenty of chickens were there.
Yeah, there were a lot of chickens. You're right. Those were there too. Well, after the wonderful Botanical Gardens, where did we head to, hon?
Well, we went to see some waterfalls called Les Tres Cascades. I hope I'm saying that correctly.
Let's just say French for the three waterfalls.
And we only got to see one, though, and it was called Via Mahuta.
Yeah.
And it's probably the largest of the waterfalls. We couldn't see the other 2. Well, 1 due to lack of time, but 2 is they've had some pretty
massive
good landslides. Yeah. But this one that we got to see was just gorgeous and stunning.
Yeah, really one of my new favorite pictures. In fact, I've made it the screen on my phone, the lock screen, because I've just loved this picture that we took and enjoyed it a lot. That was a beautiful waterfall.
We have seen a lot of waterfalls on this entire trip.
We have.
It's cool.
It's and honestly, it's just one of those things that every waterfall setting is a little different.
It is.
Yeah.
They're all gorgeous.
Yeah, they really are. After leaving that beautiful waterfall, where did we head next?
Well, we went to Venus Point Park next, which is right on the beach, and Captain Cook's monument was there, among others.
Right. So Captain Cook, back in the 1700s, they were trying to determine the distance from the Earth to the Sun. And around the world, they were setting up different observatories to observe Venus. And this was one of them that he was assigned to set up. So right at this point, he had the perfect view, took some amazing measurements that then allowed them to continue that scientific work. And so there's there's a monument to Captain Cook here. There's also a monument to Mutiny on the Bounty. So some of you may have seen one of the different movies that was made about this incident where a crew mutinied against their captain, Captain Blythe, and it had to do with how long they were here. Some of them had gotten involved with the local native population, had taken wives, and then they had to leave. And it's quite a story, actually. And part of the people who mutinied have made their home here in Tahiti, and they became part of the local culture, local myth. And so there is a monument to this, and I encourage you to go back and look at one of the many movies that have been made, maybe the 1963 Marlon Brando version or something, and take a look at that story. But that was where this monument was here as well. We also saw the Robert Louis, they call it the Robert Louis Stevens Lighthouse, because the father of Robert Louis Stevens designed and built this lighthouse, and there's a quote from him on the lighthouse itself. And another black sand beach here, and just a nice little area. After the Captain Cook Monument and Monument Park, where did we head to?
Well, it was time to go back to the ship. It was getting close to all aboard time, and just had dinner at the Windjammer, called it a day, but we have 5 sea days coming up.
Sure, was it 6?
Well, technically it was 6. We crossed the international date line, so we lost March the 1st. There was no March the 1st for us. We went straight from February 29th to March the 2nd.
Right. So 5 total days crossing the Pacific Ocean, and people, again, they've asked us a lot, well, don't you get bored on those days?
Never.
We really don't.
No,
there's always things to do. There's, everything from catching up on things with our business to doing these YouTube videos, and we always have something to do.
It also gives us a real chance to kind of absorb what we've just seen, and to just really process it,
reflect, and because sometimes you tour and you go port, and it's just so much. You 2 days later you're like, wait a minute, what did we do, when did we do it? And so sea days really allow us to reflect and to let our brains kind of go from short-term to long-term memory on some of the things that we're doing. Well, what was some of the entertainment that they brought on board?
Oh, they had a mentalist that was fun. It was
Phoenix, right?
The Mind Guy was one of them.
Yeah.
Another was really sweet. It was Steve Larkins. He did a Queen tribute, and it was Mercury Rising.
Yeah.
We had a pub night.
Yeah.
And then
that was a lot of fun, actually.
We
they brought in the DJ, and they had a full pub night, and we played some darts and a lot of singing along. That was a lot of fun.
But something interesting that we did one day is they gave us a tour of the backstage. So for those who wanted to see what it looked like, all the workings of the stage. We go to the stage, or we go to the theater most evenings to watch the headline show, but we never see what's behind the stage, or how does it really operate. And that was interesting. They showed us the sound booth, they showed us the video and the lighting booth, and then they took us back behind the stage. We saw where the costumes were kept, and just really interesting to see how it is all put together, to see the people and the jobs that they have to do, depending on, if they've got an aerial act, what they have to do, or if the orchestra's playing. It was very interesting. Yeah, it really was.
Well, after those 5 sea days crossing the Pacific Ocean, getting a little relaxation and reflection, we are going to be arriving in Auckland, New Zealand, and I'm so excited about this next stop because we get to go to Middle Earth.
We do. That is an absolute highlight for you.
Yeah.
Friends, we do have a listener question for you here at the end, but before I get to it, I'd like to invite you to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. And
we do appreciate it.
Yes, we do. Our listener question for today is, are the shops busy? Are people actually shopping on the ship? And the answer to that is yes, and you can take a look. We snapped a little video here, and so you can see people are shopping. And I know I poke my head in from time to time that they bring on new items at some of the different ports. So yes.
Yeah. Things are a little expensive in the sundry shop, if you want Pringles or some shaving cream or something. But it is there if you want it, and they do have shirts and things. So I'm actually quite surprised how much people are still utilizing the shops. But it's because we do get non-world cruisers on, right? We have people
That's
cycling
right.
on. So for some people, this is just a, 11, 20, whatever day long cruise. For some people, it's a segment. So yeah, I would say they're still used. Well, thanks a lot. And we hope you'll tune in our next one again, where we go to Auckland, New Zealand, and head over to the Shire and Middle Earth. And we hope you
It's a
enjoy
great
it.
one. All right. Take care. Bye-bye, friends.
Bye-bye.